Thanks for joining us here on Fox 9 All Day. I'm Courtney Godfrey. Happy Friday, the end of the week, and plenty of news to bring you today. So let's jump right into your headlines. As firefighters continue to battle the wildfires that are burning up in northern Minnesota, there's a bit of welcome news. Parts of the Ely area picked up more than an inch of rain overnight, temporarily slowing wildfire activity, but fire officials warn it's only a short-term boost, with more firefighters arriving yesterday. Crews continue to battle those blazes, and they're extremely worried about the dry conditions, the hot, dry conditions that will continue even after those rain showers. So the St. Louis County Sheriff says there's renewed optimism in Ely with less smoke, but still the fight continues. One of the top suspects in the massive Feeding Our Future fraud scheme was expected to make his first court appearance this afternoon. 42-year-old Abdikerm Edley arrived back in Minnesota yesterday after fleeing to Somalia. Officials say he was the second in command to ringleader Amy Bach, accused of stealing $250 million from a federal child nutrition program. He faces more than 30 charges and is being held at the Sherburne County Jail. FBI Director Kash Patel called his arrest a historic moment in the FBI's war on fraud. And starting tonight at 10 p.m., Interstate 494 will be closed in both directions from Highway 100 to Highway 77. So if you're heading to the airport, for example, from the west suburbs, this is going to impact you. You're going to want to find another route. The closure is all part of an ongoing construction project to improve safety, reduce congestion, and add easy pass lanes by 2030. The closure goes through Monday at 5 p.m. And in national news, the conflict between the U.S. and Iran is escalating. Overnight, U.S. forces struck bridges and transportation infrastructure near the strategic Strait of Hormuz, while Iran retaliated by targeting infrastructure in neighboring Kuwait. The latest exchange marks a significant expansion of the fighting, raising fresh concerns about global oil prices and gas prices at the pump. Federal health officials say they've identified a likely source in the nationwide cyclospora outbreak. Investigators are tracing the parasite to shredded lettuce supplied to some Taco Bell restaurants, with the supplier in Mexico under scrutiny. More than 1,600 confirmed cases have been reported in 34 different states, and health officials warn that that number is expected to rise. All right, well, we've also got another day of extreme heat until we start to turn down the temperature this weekend. It will still be hot, of course, but not quite as extreme, as that heat advisory is expected to expire tonight. We've also seen that smoke that blanketed the Twin Cities metro yesterday retreat, although some portions of northeastern Minnesota remain in the hazardous category. Producer Kara Savage joins me today. You know, very hot out there, and unfortunately, I love the heat, but we just haven't been able to enjoy it the last couple of days with that smoke.
Yeah, I agree. I also enjoy the heat. I would take the heat, the extreme heat over the extreme cold, but this is just unbearable.
Absolutely. I think today we're in the moderate range here in the Twin Cities. Unfortunately, our neighbors to the north, we know that you're still suffering up there in the hazardous zone, but we're moderate today. And I heard one of our meteorologists say earlier today that moderate is normal in the summer because we have a lot of particles in the air just with the summer months and the heat. So this is like back to being a normal day, which is wild considered what it looked like yesterday.
Yeah, I really thought that there was going to be no patio sitting this weekend. But now it's like I can take my post-work walk.
Yes.
Do all the things.
I know. Producer Grace Henry is at the Yacht Club Festival.
Yes, she is, yeah.
The Yacht Club Music Festival. So I think we should probably FaceTime her and make her do a live report of how the air quality is. An air quality report from the Yacht Club Festival.
Make her do some work on her day off.
Yeah, why not? Most of us do. So Paul was on paternity leave, and I was texting him all the time. So just ask him. Okay, good. You excited about the show today, or how are you feeling?
I'm excited. Aren't you excited?
Happy Friday. Listen, we've made it. We've got Paul Milgate back. He hasn't made an appearance on the show yet, but he's back from paternity leave. So we've got some reinforcements behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm feeling
We're
good.
back.
We're back, baby. We're back. All right, thanks, Kara. We'll check in with you in a little bit. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to bring on our political contributor, Blois Olson, to talk all about that election data that was released by the White House last night. He's here to break it all down for us. Stay right there. Welcome back. Election integrity is back in the spotlight as the White House released a trove of election data last night. Here to break it all down for us is our political contributor, Blois Olson. Hi, Blois. Thanks for joining me.
Great to be here, Courtney.
Okay, so the White House was promising a bombshell with this release. Is that what we got?
I don't think it was a bombshell. I think there was new information. And I think it cuts two ways. One is it feeds this conspiracy theory. It feeds this distrust of our election system, which is really important to Trump's base. One of the things in midterms is that Trump's base doesn't show up. They haven't shown up before. In fact, you'll find billboards in greater Minnesota that say, if you voted for Donald Trump in 2024, we need you to vote in the midterms from conservative groups. And so they want to keep his base energized. Second, it contradicts some of the behavior of the federal government. I did an interview with Secretary of State Steve Simon last week, and he says they're not getting the intelligence briefings. He's not seeing the precautions taking about foreign interference in this election that the federal government and Homeland Security have done before. So I think the White House and the Trump political team know what they're trying to do, but I think the voters and independents want to make sure, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, that we can trust these elections.
So was there any evidence in there that could support Republicans' claims that the 2020 election was stolen?
I didn't see anything new in that election or in the data that would say that. I think we have to just go back to 2000, the Gore Bush recount. There's been questions in multiple elections in a row now for 26 years. And the reality is that the questions are always raised by who wins or who loses. But I think that's where the 2020 election in particular, and Trump's insistence on it, loses a little bit of its shine because so many of his own people said that they couldn't find anything at the time. And now, as we look forward, setting up the narrative for the upcoming election, I think is a even more concerning strategy that I think people will, push back on. And even people within his own party, with the SAVE Act not moving in Congress, things like that, I think create this idea that there's going to be questions about the election, even whether or not there should be upcoming.
So what I hear you saying is this primetime address, this dump of data, it was all political.
I think for the large part it was. China was new. Okay, let's face it, that was new. But so much of it was redacted, I don't know that we learned anything new. I think in the interest of democracy, people are going to begin to demand some sort of independent, bipartisan blue ribbon panel that really looks at what's real and what's not. I think what if there was evidence about China in 2020, then would it matter? And that's the other thing. Would it matter? Because we're in 2026. We have a midterm and then we have a presidential election in 2 years. And Donald Trump ultimately got to serve his 2 years or 2 terms as president. And I think most Americans are going to be fine with just 2 terms.
I do want to talk about China because that was arguably the most concerning part of the address and what we were expecting to see in the data last night, because Trump claimed that there is evidence that China is accessing voter information and interfering in the election. Like I said, by face value, that sounds really concerning. What evidence did you see of that in the actual data that was released after his address?
Look, I think they confirmed that China is trying to do this, but this is no different than Russia in 2016 or Iran this year. There's no doubt. We've heard for years that wars were going to move online and cyber related. And I think that our enemies would want to interfere with our elections. So I'm not saying they wouldn't want to. I'm saying that it's up to the federal government to protect us from it. And by the way, if they interfered in the 2020 election, that was Trump's intelligence department. That was Trump's CIA. That was Trump's administration. And so what did they do not to prevent it? Ultimately, what we have to do is we have to have a system that everybody trusts. We also have to remind people that states and local jurisdictions run elections. The federal government doesn't, but the federal government can step in to make sure that all of our local governments and our local jurisdictions have the tools they need to keep our elections secure.
But was there evidence in the data that China has been accessing our voter voting systems?
Nothing that I saw, as much as what was redacted and what might come out in an intelligence briefing. And these are sensitive issues. We do not want to let them know everything we know if we're going to kind of protect ourselves. As somebody who's dealt with cyber situations for companies, you don't always say everything you know, because it's going to let the hackers know you know a lot, and then what you don't. And I'm guessing our federal government feels the same way.
Okay, let's talk about the security of voting machines, because that seemed to be a big topic as well in this data dump. What did the evidence show?
Look, there are some vulnerabilities, but there's never been a methodical way in which voting machines have been tampered or hacked. That has been proven, that people have tried to bring that evidence to court. Republican judges, Democratic judges have thrown that out. I think the voting machines all do have a paper record in Minnesota, and I think that's what voters need to know. But I really do think that the timing of this and the narrative here is, and the way you would do it in a primetime address, is something that suggests that this was more than just about getting it out there. It was about trying to capture the nation's attention in July of an election year.
And what did the data say about non-citizen voting?
There is clearly non-citizens who are registered to vote. And it's across multiple states. The difference is they don't seem to be voting at any sort of level that is suspect to influencing an election. And this is where the Republicans and around the SAVE Act have some kind of credence. They have credibility. In Minnesota in 2012, we rejected voter ID, a photo proof to vote. But I think there's enough people, and there's been enough questions raised, that people think, look, I have to show ID to buy liquor. I have to show ID to do a lot of things. Why not just add that to the list of things for voting? And the numbers and the hyperbole that comes out of both sides on that, I think, kind of clouds what common sense and what independents would want, is just make sure that it's credible, that they're not voting, and that they can't get registered to vote in order to, eliminate that step. And I think that seems like a reasonable thing to most people.
So overall, did this data change anything about our understanding of elections?
No, I don't think it did. I don't spend hours and days studying the way in which the systems work until kind of closer to election day. But, I did interview the Secretary of State last week. He said that the systems are all systems go here, that there were no new threats that he had been made aware of. But I'm guessing that all secretaries of state and local election officials are going to make sure that they're doubling down on security this election.
And was Minnesota one of the states that shared voter all this information with DC, or were they one of the states that said no thanks?
Minnesota has not shared its entire voter record with DC. Steve Simon has refused to do that. He said that he would share information if it was, if there was evidence. But I think that's another place where, whose data is it? If the state runs the election, then it's state data. And Courtney, our viewers know, ultimately this is all about political posturing and not giving an inch, even if it were to, settle up some sort of dispute. But I think that's what we can't have, that undermines trust in democracy right now. And so Minnesotans trust their elections. And until somebody waves a huge red flag about something major that could have flipped a race, I think it's tough for the Trump team and Republicans to, undermine that credibility. And
Steve Simon has said that he's not getting the same communication from the Trump administration that he used to, right?
Yeah, I did a full 35-minute interview with him last week. You can find it at Sunday Take. But he's not getting the information. They're not getting the briefings, but the state has stepped up to spend the money to at least make sure that we're secure when it comes to the systems and the way in which you might breach our voter data in Minnesota.
Great. Blois Olson, I so appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Courtney. See you soon.
All right. That was our political contributor, Blois Olson, on the dump of election data that the White House released last night. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Well, we continue to cover the fires that are burning in northern Minnesota and along the Canadian border. There's more than a dozen fires currently burning. They've burned over 60,000 acres. Thousands have been evacuated. Thankfully, there are no more evacuations. The evacuations have not extended. So the same people who were evacuated the Echo Trail, Fernburg Corridor, those are still the only locations that were in the go position who had to get out. There are several people who are in the ready and the set status, including cabins on the end of the Gunflint Trail in Cook County. So those people are being told they need to be ready to go at a moment's notice. But good news is we've had a temporary pause in the fire activity as they did get some fresh rain up there last night. So let's take a look at the fire map if we can get it up, because I just want to take a look at what is currently burning. Like I said, we haven't seen much expansion of the fire in the last day as they did get a reprieve. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Office was saying that they did get about an inch of rain last night in the Ely area, and that in Ely they've seen a retreat of that smoke, and they're even seeing some blue skies today. So a little short-term boost for those firefighters who really needed it up there. The worry now is, after listening to a press conference with the U.S. Forest Service not too long ago, is that the dry, hot conditions continue. So yes, they got a little bit of rain, but these dry, hot conditions are only making it harder to fight this fire. Let's take a listen to one of the, I believe it's the National Weather Service meteorologists up there who briefed the media just a short while ago.
We had roughly a ½ inch to an inch of rain. That's good. But I want you to imagine moisture that you get within an hour or hour and a half, which is what we had this morning, maybe 2 hours worth of a downpour. What happens when you pour water on something? It runs off really quick. Whereas if you could have an extended period of rain, then it would moisten things up. So we haven't done that. What's happened now is the water has caused a temporary pause in what's going on. The smoke's cleared, the wind shifted, and we, and I don't say we in the sense of the team, we as the community get complacent. We think everything's okay because the smoke's gone, must not be any fire out there anymore, right? No, that's not the case. The wind is just blowing the smoke in a different direction, and everything out there within a day or two, as soon as that sun comes out, is going to dry back out again, and it's going to start to move across the landscape again. So don't think just because the air cleared that you can run in business as usual. That does not happen, not with fires of this size. So this momentary pause, I'll repeat, don't let your guard down, because the outlook in the weather forecast, if you're paying attention, temperatures going back up this weekend, wind's going to pick back up this weekend, and we're going to be right back at it with these fires moving on the landscape. Double-edged sword. What happened today when it rained? We had lightning. You can hear it out there rumbling right now, right? There's new points of ignition. Those lightning strikes, some of them most likely hit something that was dead and down, and it's in there smoking around just like a cigarette. And we don't know about it. And we don't know about it because it hasn't got big enough to be detected. The smoke may mask the new smoke that it's producing, and we're not going to see it until it gets big enough, and we're going to have some new starts out there. So I caution you, it's like anything else. When you're fighting a battle, look behind you, because it may be sneaking up behind you. There might be something new out there. So we're going to be out there actively looking for that kind of stuff. When do we change this cycle? Weather started all of this, and most likely weather will end all of this. We will manage it until that time comes. I said before, my neighbors on the southeast coast, because they had big fires this spring, you needed rain with a name to put the fires out, and it did. Those in Georgia, those, northern Florida. But up here, odds are you're not getting that sort of system. What we're going to have to depend on is a weather pattern change that brings repeat rainfall. Again, long duration rain, not something that comes from a thunderstorm. We're going to be dealing with these all summer. We need a weather pattern change, and most likely that comes with our first snow. So who wants to name the first snowstorm of the season? Maybe we do that. But right now, we are dead thick of summer, and we got to go through the month of August before we would get a significant pattern change in this area.
All right, you have been hearing from Phil Manville. He's the National Weather Service meteorologist. He's up there working this fire right now. You heard him talk about the fact that half-inch to inch of rain that they received overnight in the Ely region helped with firefighting efforts, but it's not nearly enough. So they continue to battle these fires, and they are worried about the dry, hot conditions that will continue and what that will mean for these firefighting efforts. They've also talked about how a lot of this fire is in a very rural part of the state. Many of these fires they can't even reach, even airily. It's from the air, it's not possible for them to fight these fires. And so many of them, they'll just let burn until the snow falls. It's part of nature's process, as it's been explained to us before. So if it's not threatening homes or cabins, they're going to let those fires burn until the snow falls and nature takes care of it themselves. The bigger concern are the fires that are burning closer to Ely. And they said the next couple of days are going to be key in that firefight. Let's take a look at the fire map. I believe we have it up now. There you go. So there's more than a dozen fires burning up there along the Canadian border. You can see the Boundary Waters there is where all of this is taking place. Those evacuation zones are just north of Ely in communities referred to as the Echo Trail Corridor and the Fernburg Corridor. That's where individuals have been told to leave. There's plenty of others in that region. You can see in those reddish pink boxes, those are the go areas. And then you see the yellow and the green. Those are areas that have been told to be ready. Pack up your stuff, be ready to leave at a moment's notice. And the campfire right there in the upper right hand, right there is the one that's of most concern right now. Yep, Kara's zooming in on it now. So that's the fire of the most concern right now. There's also a fire burning at the end of the Gunflint Trail. But right now, it seems that there hasn't been much movement. So in the last 24 hours, there hasn't been much movement. They've had a bit of reprieve, and they'll continue their firefighting efforts until they can get this under control. Can we also pull up the air quality map if you've got that? Because what's happened is the smoke from these wildfires has caused unsafe air quality across our state. Much of Minnesota yesterday and the Midwest and Northeast were in hazardous air quality states. So right now, Detroit, Michigan is actually #1 for the worst air quality in the world right now. Worst in the world is Detroit, Michigan. And that is all because of these fires and the fires burning in Ontario, Canada as well. That's creating that smoky haze over Detroit. Minneapolis actually dropped to 84th place. Pretty amazing. Yesterday, Minneapolis was #1 for the worst air quality in the world. Today, they dropped all the way to 84th place, and that's all because of a wind pattern that's helping to clear the smoke out of this region. Here's the current air quality map. So you can see the Twin Cities Metro is in that moderate zone. I'm even seeing a small pocket of good, southern Minnesota, I think it was. But that moderate zone is quite a change from what we saw yesterday, where we saw gray, hazy skies. You can see up near Hibbing, and all of the Arrowhead region in northeast Minnesota is still in the hazardous zones. There's Hibbing, Ely, Duluth. That is all still hazardous, which means they're advising anyone in that region to stay inside. And if you do have to go outside, or if you have to work outside, they're advising that you wear an N95 mask and stay extremely hydrated. So while we are out of the smoky zone here in the Twin Cities, we still have neighbors to our north who are very much in it, as well as other parts of the Midwest who are still feeling the impacts of the smoke from that from those wildfires. We are going to take a quick break, but we'll be back after this. Thanks for joining us here on All Day Live. I'm Courtney Godfrey. Well, let's take a break from talking about fire and air quality, and let's talk about some other big news happening today. The Odyssey hits movie theaters. So this is Homer's 3,000-year-old epic poem made into a nearly 3-hour-long movie. It's starring all the big stars: Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron. They're all in it. Kara, I know you're excited for this. Did you snag some tickets? Because I've heard they're hard to get.
I haven't bought my tickets yet, but I'm supposed to go tomorrow. And last I checked, I should still be fine getting into a theater. I think the places that it's hard to get tickets right now are the theaters that are showing it in 70 millimeter, right?
Yeah, because I was overhearing someone in the newsroom saying that they couldn't find tickets, but maybe they were trying to see the fancy version.
Maybe. I don't know. I looked earlier at a few places, and there are still some tickets. They're maybe not the greatest seats. I think if you're trying to go to like an AMC or a place with the nice fancy chairs and there aren't as many seats in a theater, maybe you're having a problem if you're going at prime time.
Rumor on the street is that if you aren't seeing it IMAX, it's not worth it. So you got to go IMAX or go home, I guess. That's what the word on the street is, that you got to see it that way. What is the big deal with this movie, though? I mean, listen, I'm in my mom era, so I'm like, the movies we're looking forward to this summer: Minions, Toy Story.
I heard Minions didn't do well.
Well, we have yet to. Oh wait, my kids saw it. I did not see it. They thought it was cute. I heard there was a lot of adult humor in it, like a lot.
Okay, that's good.
A lot of adult humor, like borderline inappropriate humor.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm like, what is this movie? Is Bluey in it? If Bluey's not in it, I'm probably not seeing it.
I know. Well, the thing about the Odyssey that a lot of people are excited about, I mean, it's an iconic story. People love the history and like all the stories around the Trojan War, and this is a story that comes at the end of the Trojan War, so it's kind of a big. I think it's exciting, and also the story is something that a lot of Western literature is based off of.
Well, the filmmaker is the
Also, the filmmaker. The filmmaker is the big story.
yeah. So who is he again?
Christopher Nolan.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Christopher
so
Nolan.
he did his last big movie was Oppenheimer. We all remember the Barbenheimer era.
Nope.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You don't? Did you see Barbie?
I saw Barbie.
Okay, so Oppenheimer came out on the same day as Barbie. So people were doing like a movie marathon, seeing both in the same day. I didn't do that.
No.
I know. I did not
have
do that.
two children and a full-time job. Like, where are people
Well,
finding the
did you
time?
have two children when that came out?
When Barbie came out? Yes.
Really?
Kara, I'm 2023? Yes. Yes, I had two children, a baby at home.
You had a baby. Yeah.
Like a toddler and a baby, and I did see Barbie, but I think I saw it you know what? I watched it on an airplane like a year later. So
Okay.
that is the era I'm in, where
Yeah.
I come into work and the 20-somethings are talking about the Odyssey, and I'm like, the what? I didn't get much sleep last night.
No,
and
I'm sure, yeah.
like I said, if Bluey's not in it, I don't know it.
Can I call you out?
Sure.
When we were talking about the Odyssey earlier, Courtney was like, "Wait, what is that? Like, what is it about?
What is it?
What
Like,
is it about?"
I didn't
and
know.
We were like, "Are you kidding?"
I didn't know that Odyssey could be anything. Okay, I didn't know
Right.
it was the Greek poem.
No.
I didn't know that it was like the Odyssey, like the book you read in high school.
Like Odysseus.
Yeah, I
and-
did not know
yeah.
that. I just thought maybe it was some alien invasion movie, and I'm not into those.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
So the Odyssey,
but
you know,
anyways-
Odyssey could be anything. So I know I got so much. I got
People are
such
saying-
I got such a hard time for that.
Yeah.
Oof.
Critics are saying that this is a bigger movie than Oppenheimer. So Christopher Nolan's probably biggest movie is The Dark Knight. And so people are saying that this is like gonna blow The Dark Knight out of the water.
Didn't see
what I'm hearing.
Oppenheimer.
Okay?
Don't think I saw The Dark Knight.
Okay.
I'm living in a cave.
You've got
so
some things to do.
let's move
Did you
on.
see Interstellar?
Nope.
Inception?
Nope.
Okay. And we're Dunkirk?
Nope.
Okay, we're done.
Wow. I have not seen. I can hear
Okay.
Paul in the background. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. Like I have things to do. I don't have time to go to the movies.
Yeah, that's fair. And also, I will say Christopher Nolan movies are usually really long.
Okay, so Paul really wants me to read this review that his friend gave of Odyssey. Because apparently it's been released already in Australia.
Well, yeah, they had like the preview showing last
It's also
night.
like today in Australia,
Well,
right?
yes, also that.
So he
It's
said
tomorrow.
It's tomorrow today. Oh, it's Friday, Kara. You're really testing me today, okay? It's a truly epic film in a lot of ways. It's hard to describe, but it's a bit like one of those giant, grand historical paintings. You get to see it painted through the medium of film.
All right.
Paul and I have very different friends.
Let's see. My
Paul's
friends would
Paul's
not
group
say that.
text. Paul's friends group text looks a lot different than my group text. Okay.
If that is what your group text looks like, then that is a lot different than mine as well. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Oh, Goldie the Gopher is up for
Yeah.
Mascot Hall of Fame in
Yes, he
2026. Goldie is the official is an official candidate on the ballot. So they narrowed it down to about a dozen mascots, and these are like NFL, MLB, college, all across the board.
Yep.
He's been nominated several times before, but he's up for it again. Fan voting
He hasn't won yet.
has never won. Well, if he won, he'd already be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. So it's like he's been. Yeah. Okay.
He's been nominated several times.
Yes.
And voting runs until midnight on Sunday, the
And you can vote
26th.
every day, apparently.
You can vote twice a day, from what I saw. But they will limit you at 2 votes a day.
Okay.
The other mascots up for it are Split of the Savannah Bananas. They're very popular.
Big
I'm not
competition
surprised.
there.
Yeah, big competition. Mrs. Met from the New York Mets. What is Mr. Met already in the? That's sexist. If her husband is in the Hall of Fame and she's not,
Yeah, you should get like
so
married
Mrs.
in.
Met
You
is
can
in.
marry into it.
Finn the Whale of the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay.
Buzz from Georgia Tech, Cosmo the Cougar from BYU, Purdue Pete from Purdue University, and on, several others.
So we've got two Big Ten mascots.
Yes,
in
yeah,
there.
you've
Big
got,
competition.
Yep. University of Texas Longhorns. I'm kind of surprised that Hookham is not already in the Hall of Fame. But
That one is pretty mainstream, so you would think.
University of South Carolina, Cocky is the name of that one. So
You can also get a shirt that says "I voted for Goldie." So
cute. Are you voting? Have you voted?
I voted.
You went to the U of M, so
yeah, I'm a gopher, so I had to. And I heard about this, so all I did was it took me about 4 seconds to vote. So
the big question today, Kara, is have you eaten at Taco Bell in the last couple of weeks? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Taco Bell is now possibly being linked to the Cyclospora outbreak. You know, it was always
Yes.
rumored, but now FDA officials are possibly linking the lettuce being sold at Taco Bell. They're linking it to a manufacturer in Mexico. And so whoever supplies Taco Bell's lettuce is really the one at fault here. But Taco Bell is the one taking the heat. And now, not only...
Taylor's Farms is the manufacturer, so you can also buy like Taylor's Farms salad mixes. I always see them at Costco. So if you have a Costco salad mix, I would also double check that.
Yeah. So now Taco Bell is now being named as a defendant in at least 3 new lawsuits. So people are trying to sue Taco Bell over this. They claim, they got sick after eating tacos. So one man, a 27-year-old military veteran, claims he purchased and ate Taco Bell Supremes from an Ohio Taco Bell on June 18th and June 20th. And a couple days later, he was in the emergency room. He needed a colonoscopy and all kinds of other things, but abdominal pain, gas, diarrhea, the whole shebang. And another guy, similar story in another state, Muhammad Aid, claims he ate Taco Bell 3 times, twice on June 14th and once on June 21st. He loves Taco Bell.
He loves
clearly.
Taco Bell.
And now he wants to blame him for all his problems.
Maybe if you're eating Taco Bell 3 times a week and you get sick, it might be your own fault.
Yeah. He says he developed headache, chills, persistent diarrhea. So he's also suing, and some other people. I want to come to Taco Bell's defense.
I do too.
I love Taco Bell.
Me too.
I enjoy Taco Bell. And I think, they got bad lettuce from their supplier.
That's
and
not
now
their fault.
They're getting the bad PR. They're taking the heat. They have taken lettuce off the menu, lettuce and tomato, and like all fresh anything off their menu at a lot of their restaurants. Here's my fear, Kara. My fear is that because of this, fast food restaurants are going to back away from offering fresh food options. And Taco Bell is like the only fast food place that I'll eat at.
Yeah, because they have vegetarian options.
They have vegetarian options, and it's not fried. Like, listen, it's still processed. It's not great. It's still fast food, but to me, it's healthier than some other choices out there. So my fear is just like we're gonna have no vegetables at fast food restaurants anymore.
Yeah, and I do love a kale crunch salad from Chick-fil-A. So
the kale crunch salad at Chick-fil-A is very good, but it's like $5 for a tiny container.
Well, it's only a good deal if you do like you get the grilled chicken nuggets and then you switch your side out for the kale. That's what I do.
Okay.
Whatever. That's me and Grace. We both do that.
That's your trick.
We have the same order.
That's your trick. Okay.
But I'm still getting Taco Bell. So.
I think, free Taco Bell, man.
Free Taco Bell. It's not their fault.
Stop coming after my Crunchwrap Supreme.
Same.
I honestly, Kara, I almost went and got Taco Bell for lunch today, just to prove that I ain't scared.
I ain't scared. I mean, also, it's like, it's not Taco Bell's fault because they literally said you can't just wash off this parasite.
No.
So it's not like Taco Bell's not washing their lettuce. I mean, they might not be, but probably are.
We had a Cyclospora expert on earlier this week, and he said there is no way to get rid of it except for cooking it. And he also said it usually comes from the water that is sprayed on the crops. So it's coming from the water supply at the farm. So
Well, there we go.
clear Taco
So-
Bell's name.
Free Taco Bell. It's not their fault.
In other news,
In other news,
Chipotle is taking its biggest cultural taste test yet. It's opening its first restaurant in Mexico. The irony.
Perfect.
The
Perfect.
irony.
it feels a little rude.
Yeah, so they opened one in Monterey, and they're planning 6 to 8 more locations before expanding to Mexico City. I don't
know if they're gonna do well, to be
So
honest.
speaking of Taco Bell tried this in Mexico. Taco Bell tried to come to Mexico and they failed. So oh, by the way, there are 147,000 taquerias in the country of Mexico. And those are just like the registered ones. That's not
Yeah.
counting the ones that are just on the street. So I don't know how Chipotle can compete in Mexico.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be like bringing a glass of $2 Chuck to a party where they're serving prisoner, for my wine connoisseurs. You can't
What?
compare.
That did not register. But okay.
You get a little older, Kara, and you'll drink the high quality wines.
But
and
$2
then you'll know.
truck versus prisoner wine, is that what you just said?
Prisoner, it's a delicious, expensive bottle of wine.
Okay.
Okay, I needed to come up with a better analogy before
Yeah,
we came
that's
on the
way
air.
out of my.
I'll try to think of something better and then come back to you. But yeah, I think this is pretty funny. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a franchisee, you should open like a Domino's in Mexico,
Yes.
or a Cherry Berry, or something that
Or
anything but
Yeah.
Americanized Mexican food.
yeah, that doesn't seem like it'll land well. And I feel like if I were in Mexico, I would rather go to one of the 4,000 local places.
Absolutely. All right. Well, those are your talkers today.
Let's go to break.
Let's go to break. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk about Aquatennial and its return to Minneapolis. Stay right there. welcome back. Well, it's a Minneapolis tradition dating back more than 80 years. The Aquatennial is back, and it's bringing parades, boat races, summer celebrations. The city of Minneapolis. Marie Carroll joins me now to talk all about Aquatennial. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Okay, so this is a new era for Aquatennial. It used to be run by the Downtown Council.
Yes.
Tell me what has changed.
Yeah. So the Downtown Council is changing their strategies and offered an opportunity for our organization to take over in hosting and producing Aquatennial. We're excited. We're bringing it back this year and now reimagining the entire event, bringing it back to several events across all of Minneapolis and diversity in types of events.
This has been an event in Minneapolis since 1940, but it's changed shape over the years. Before we came on camera, I was reflecting on how when I first moved here over a decade ago, there was a parade every night.
Yes.
And it's changed and just become different over the years.
Yes.
Talk to me about what has remained the same and what has changed and what people can expect.
Yeah. Well, as the official civic celebration, we should always reflect what our community wants. What do people want to come out and go to? What type of events? And that's what you're going to start seeing here and going forward. We have 29 events. The signature events that are staying, the Torchlight Parade, of course, on Wednesday night. We also have the Beach Blast on Thomas Beach. That's where we have milk carton boat races and the sandcastle competition. So some of our fan favorites, but some new, fresh ideas. We have sailboat racing at the Government Plaza. We have electronic dance music party. And then we also have a snowball classic, real snow being brought in. That's going to be fun at the Commons.
I don't know if it'll last long in this heat.
It might not, but it'll be a nice, cool refresh for all of us.
That's true. What is Aquatennial all about? Is it just about bringing people together in Minneapolis, or what is the point?
That was the point in 1940 when it started. It was a group of civic leaders who said, we have a lot to celebrate here in Minneapolis. The city of lakes, so many art, music, food. Let's bring people here. So it did start as a way of bringing not only Minneapolis residents, but greater Minnesota and tourism across the country. So our team goes to over 300 events, including across the country and up to Winnipeg, inviting people to Minneapolis.
Wow. The parade used to shut down Hennepin and I think Nicollet Mall for a while. The parade went down Nicollet Mall. Is the parade still around?
It is. We will have the Torchlight Parade return on Wednesday. It starts at 7:30 p.m. Going down Nicollet Mall, over 80 units. A lot of really fun. We've got music, we've got some marching bands, lots of great units.
Okay, so family friendly.
Absolutely. Yes.
What about the fireworks? That was always a very popular part of Aquatennial, but not a very sustainable part of Aquatennial.
That's right. And right now, part of our growing and reimagining is listening sessions. What does the community want? What type of events? And we're hearing fireworks. It's being evaluated for 2027. We hope to potentially bring that back, but also other ideas. We should hear from the community, other types of things that we should host.
So who's funding this?
That's a great question. The starting of the funding was from individuals, as it had been in 1940, but we've also had some really incredible sponsors step forward. Target Corporation is recognizing their roots here in Minneapolis and celebrating the community here. They've stepped up in a big way as our Tier 1 sponsor. The Minnesota Twins are also sponsoring a Twins night, so that's fun. Friday night, it's Aquatennial night with the Twins. You can get brand new skipper pin, which is a collectible item for our Aquatennial enthusiasts, and they will have fireworks after their game that evening. So lots of corporate sponsors showing up in their hometown and investing in our communities, which is really appreciated.
Next Friday, I assume.
Next
Friday.
not
Okay.
tonight.
I was going to say, we're not giving people a lot of time to get down there.
That's right.
This used to be run by the Downtown Council. Why did the Downtown Council decide to stop doing Aquatennial?
Yeah, so the Downtown Council has chosen some other strategies and other initiatives. However, they're an important part of the Minneapolis Aquatennial, as are a couple other key players in Minneapolis. So Meet Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Foundation, of course the City of Minneapolis, the Mayor's Office. It's still really back to our roots. Civic leaders are making this happen, and it's key stakeholders across the city. So Downtown Council is not hosting or producing, but we certainly appreciate their partnership.
What do you think has changed and what has stayed the same since 1940 be when this started?
Yeah. Well, I think what we saw in 2026 that hasn't changed is the pride that we have in our community. Minneapolis is about neighbors. It's about people. And we celebrate that first and foremost. We can talk about having the best restaurants. We can talk about theater and arts. But at the end of the day, what we saw this year, we're neighbors. We take care of each other, and that's what we're coming to celebrate. So that's not changed. What we enjoy to do together in community, that has. We had tennis many years ago in downtown Minneapolis. It's a little more pickleball these days, right? So we're going to see changes in the types of events that reflect what people want, but coming together as a community, that has not changed, and the passion for that is still strong.
Why do these civic traditions still matter? Why was there this effort to save Aquatennial?
Yeah. I love events in Minneapolis. I can tell you about coming down to the Stone Arch Bridge Art Festival or being in a Loring Park neighborhood just yesterday for an event. I think people still like coming together in community. I'm the mom of 3. We fight electronics sometimes, and some of us are doing a lot of working from home. I think many of us want opportunities to get out of the house, have fun things to do, and to celebrate why we love living here.
What do you think this means for Minneapolis's identity? Minneapolis has been through it since the pandemic and George Floyd. So the last 6 years have been rough. What do you think this signals for Minneapolis's identity?
Yeah, I think it signals our values, that we have that Minnesota nice mentality or that sort of impression that people have of us, which is so true. We are nice. I've been told if I'm on the East Coast, you can tell I'm a Midwesterner because I walk around with a smile, but that's true who we are. We're just good, nice people. But that shouldn't be mistaken that we're really strong in our values in taking care of each other and taking care of our communities.
How are you balancing that nostalgia that was started in 1940 with starting new traditions, which it sounds like you guys are doing?
I think it starts by, one, listening to what is important. What is the legacy, to your point? What are the values? Why is this important? What caused people to, when they heard it was canceled? Why were there so many people that really stepped up to say, we just can't? And I think that's what we have to really listen to is there's a passion for it, right? There's an absolute passion for it.
Yeah. What can people expect if they're coming down? It starts tomorrow, right?
It starts tomorrow. I'm really excited. Tomorrow we have the floating lanterns and Asian food market on Thomas Beach. I can't wait. My kiddos are going to be down there at 8:45. The floating lanterns launch. I do know they originally sold out, but they were able to release more tickets. So that's one, get more tickets. But I think there's just a vibe of celebrating Minneapolis this year, celebrating really what we did of coming together. So I think it's just a whole vibe that you'll feel and see.
Do you need tickets for all the events, or can you just show up?
Many of our events are free and you can show up. So floating lanterns, you can certainly show up and watch. If you want to launch your own lantern, you'll want to buy a ticket online. Sailboats, same thing. You can absolutely come watch Government Plaza. But there's also singing events. We have the summer show tunes from Hennepin Arts, and ETC is hosting Frozen. Tons of free events on our website. It'll indicate if it's ticketed or free, so you'll know what to expect at each event.
And it goes for almost a week, right?
That's right. We have 29 events. We're bringing it back to the 10 best days of summer, and this is just the start. We're going to see a whole reimagining of the Aquatennial, so hang with us. It's growing. This is just the starting point.
I remember when it was a parade every night.
Parade every night, block parties, shutting down the streets with bands. We are in conversations with some band and musical elements in 2027, so I'm really excited about conversations that are already starting for next summer.
I think one parade a week is fine.
It's good.
So I think you're going the right direction. All right, if you want any more information, there's the website on the screen, minneapolisaquatennial.com. Marie Carroll, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to go to a quick break. Stay with us. right, welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 9 all day. Well, of course, the topic is still on the weather, the hot topic at least, because it is literally hot outside. The extreme heat warning is in effect until tonight, and then we're going to turn the temperature down just a tad. Meteorologist Erica Mrazek joins me now. Hi, Erica.
Hi, Courtney. Another hot day across the area with some haze. Now, not as much haze as yesterday and also Wednesday when that wall of smoke moved in. It's now moving back further north and east. So overall, just a little bit of hazy skies, but air quality is better than it was for your Thursday and also for your late Wednesday. So overall setup area of low pressure towards the north. Now there's kind of a cold front going right through the middle of the state. So the wind behind the cold front coming from the north and the west. This is going to bring a little bit more of hazy skies into the area for your late Friday into Saturday, but overall not as smoky as before. So zooming in, there's kind of a lot going on, a lot of alerts, a lot of warnings there. I want to take a closer look up towards northeast Minnesota, where there is one severe warned thunderstorm that is in St. Louis County. It's moving south and east. And with that, there could be some wind gusts of 60 miles an hour and hail of about the size of a quarter possible. So up there, some raining rumblers, also where you have those smoky skies and hot temperatures. So really a lot going on up in the Arrowhead with some also non-severe thunderstorms going from around Grand Marais over towards Hibbing, just that broken line there. Everywhere else, though, is dry, but it is very, very hot today with that southwest wind. Heat advisory out for a lot of the state. That goes until Friday today at 9 p.m. And then for the metro, where you have more concrete, heat kind of gets trapped. So that urban heat island providing warm temperatures here for the Twin Cities and an extreme heat warning still until 9 p.m. today, because your temperatures could feel perhaps like mid to upper 90s, even for some, the triple digits. And then also air quality alert out for the northern half of the state. That's places around Brainerd and north of that towards International Falls. So no air quality alert out for the metro, central Minnesota, southern Minnesota. But this alert goes out until 11 a.m. on Monday for now for those friends located further north. So air quality is still something to think about, but here in the metro, definitely a lot better. It's just unhealthy, moderately unhealthy. But up towards the north and the east, still anywhere between that very unhealthy to unhealthy category, as well as towards the north and the west around Detroit Lakes, Ely, Grand Marais, Grand Rapids area. So that's still not good, but eventually it looks like we might be good in a few days, because there is still just a little bit of haze hanging around for later today and into tomorrow. You'll notice as that cold front I showed earlier sweeps towards the south and the east, it brings smoke behind it. But since it's a northwesterly wind rather than a northeasterly wind, it's not as prominent as it was when it moved in on Wednesday. So just a tint to the sky, a filter to the sun overall for your Saturday and perhaps into Sunday. And then I do expect it to be a little bit more smokier for parts of Wisconsin than here in Minnesota. Still hot, temperature reaching about 94 in the metro, also 94 for our friends over in Marshall as some of the warmest spots, St. Cloud as well. Some 70s and 80s for places up towards the north. Now it feels hotter because those dew points are in the 70s for some and also some 60s too. So it feels like it's 98 currently for the heat index in the Twin Cities, even up to the triple digits, 105 in Wilmer, 102 in Morris, 101 in Marshall. So this continues that really long stretch of hot temperatures. This is about day 7, I believe, for your temperatures reaching highs in the 90s in a row. So for the rest of the next couple of days, expect up north that air quality alert to continue, but here in the metro and other places south, that is not the case. But it is still going to be hot through the weekend. Expect highs to be low 90s, and they won't be upper 90s, but still going to feel quite warm. And then your next best chance, Courtney, at some more comfortable temperatures is going to be on Tuesday and Wednesday, where highs could be mid to low 80s, which is closer to seasonable and a little bit below seasonable too.
Yeah, that sounds nice compared to what we've had. So
yeah,
we'll take
especially yesterday, the combination of the smoke and the heat was just a lot. So it'll feel refreshing next week.
Fascinating to look at those maps though, Erica, and see how the wind patterns, I mean, just the way that the smoke was blanketing the metro yesterday and then the wind patterns quickly took it away. And then to see so many, like Detroit is -- for air quality today, and then Washington, D.C. So just watching that air pattern and how it's taking it through the Midwest, up through the Northeast. Really interesting.
It is. The wind determines everything, so
Yeah.
got to get the wind coming from the right way.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.
Like I mentioned, Minneapolis was #1 for worst air quality in the world yesterday. In just 24 hours, we have dropped to the 84th spot, all thanks to that wind. But Detroit still sits at #1, and all of this is because of the wildfires that are burning in Canada and northern Minnesota. So let's take let's look at an update on those fires. A bit of welcome news. Erica was touching on it a bit there, but parts of Ely picked up more than an inch of rain overnight, and that temporarily slowed wildfire activity. But wildfire officials are warning that it's only a short-term boost. At a press conference earlier today, they called it just a pause and not nearly the kind of precipitation that they need to see in order to really help battle these fires. The St. Louis County Sheriff says that there is renewed optimism, though, in Ely, with less smoke in town today and even some blue skies peeking through. They also wanted to remind everyone that the North Woods remains open for business. A lot of Minnesota is still unimpacted by this fire and the smoke. Let's show the map because I see that you have it up there. This is a look at the current fires burning, more than a dozen fires burning up there in northern Minnesota and along the Canadian border. And it's really up in that Ely region. So the evacuations that took place, thousands had to be evacuated this week, and they were all north of Ely near the Camp Fire. There's also a fire burning you can see up there in the upper right-hand corner. It's my right-hand corner. And that is at the end of the Gunflint Trail in Cook County. That area has been told to be ready, but still no movement of that fire, so no evacuations yet. It's still in a wildland area, so no structures are in danger yet, but those people have been told to be ready to go. Meanwhile, down there by Ely, that campfire continues to threaten the community there, as many people have been told to have their things ready to leave at a moment's notice. Thousands of others evacuated. The fire so far has burned more than 60,000 acres. So we'll continue to keep our eye on it. And in other news, here in Minnesota, one of the top suspects in the massive Feeding Our Future fraud scheme was expected to make his first court appearance this afternoon. 42-year-old Abdulkarim Idli arrived back in Minnesota yesterday after fleeing to Somalia and being handed over by Somalian authorities after he surrendered there. Officials say he was second in command to ringleader Amy Bach, accused of stealing $250 million from federal child assistance programs. He faces more than 30 charges and is being held at the Sherburne County Jail. FBI Director Kash Patel called his arrest a historic moment in the FBI's war on fraud. And starting tonight, commuters beware. Starting at 10 p.m., Interstate 494 will close in both directions between Highway 100 and Highway 77. So this is in the Edina and Richfield areas. So basically, if you're heading to the airport from the western suburbs, you're going to want to find another route because the closures are part of an ongoing construction project to improve safety, reduce congestion, and add easy pass lanes by 2030. This closure goes through Monday at 5 a.m., but I'm not the expert. Our traffic reporter Lauren Andrigo is, and she has a full report on it.
Hey friends, big weekend of events in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and beyond. And if you have any plans around the South Metro, a major highway shutdown could slow down your plans or take you on a route alternate of what you're used to taking. This is 62, the crosstown at France Avenue in Edina. This is the detour for a major closure. 494 shutting down in both directions all weekend long between Highway 100 in the Edina-Bloomington area all the way to the airport, Highway 77, Cedar Avenue. They're working on a couple of bridges over the highway as well as work in the median. That's why all of the lanes need to shut down all weekend. 62 will be your detour all weekend long, and we do have construction going on near 162 in Edina. All lanes should be reopened by Monday at 5 a.m. in time for our morning commute. One other exit closure I want you to know about if you're going to the zoo or the Egan Outlets or even the Mall of America in the Apple Valley Egan region, Highway 77 and 35E. Lots of work going on right now. And between Friday and Monday, all of our south side ramps are going to close. So all of your routes to and from 35E from 77. If you're headed somewhere in Egan, Cliff Road will get you off of the highway in either direction. Otherwise, travel north to 494 to get between the two highways. Construction's going to continue all summer along 77, but these ramps should open by Monday morning. Back to you.
All right, that was Lauren Andrigo with your full traffic report. So definitely be aware if you leave in the East Metro this weekend. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll return in just a couple minutes. Stay right there. Welcome back. The Wake Surf Open happens this weekend on Lake Minnetonka. It is a pro wake surfing competition that brings together top riders from around the country to showcase high-level tricks, athleticism, and the growing sport behind wake surfing. One of the best in the world joins me now. So excited to have him in studio. Tyler Stewart, four-time world champion, raised right here on the shores of Lake Minnetonka. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Okay, so am I correct in saying that you actually got into wake surfing after going to the Wake Surf Open on Lake Minnetonka?
Yeah, I wasn't even that big into wake surfing yet. I just showed up because I thought it would be a cool atmosphere and saw a bunch of other pros doing their thing. So that's what really got me hooked was this weekend, probably 8 to 10 years ago now.
So you were 13 when you entered your first competition?
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
How did this all start for you? Obviously, you went to the Wake Surf Open. You saw this on Lake Minnetonka. You saw some of the best in the country competing. And then how did you actually get into doing this professionally?
Well, so my parents grew up slalom skiing, so we were always out on the lake. And I wakeboarded, And then, yeah, I went to this competition, found out about wake surfing and all these tricks that you could do. So that's what really got me hooked. And then there's a lot more competitions around Minnesota and the United States. So after you go to a competition, you meet a bunch of cool families, and it really makes you want to stay in the sport and keep competing and traveling and progressing.
So you've competed all over the country, all over the world.
All over the world, yeah.
All over the world. But you continue to come back here and compete. Why is it so important for you to stay connected to your roots here in Minnesota?
Well, first of all, I just love Lake Minnetonka, and we have a good community of wake surfers, which makes it really fun. And then the competition this weekend, since it's a part of Mound City Festival, Spirit of the Lakes, we get a lot more people coming to watch, and it's just a lot more fun than some of the other competitions. So this is definitely my favorite weekend of the summer.
Lake Minnetonka really has become a hub for wake surfing. Why do you think that is?
There's just a lot of boats out there, and everyone waits all winter for the nice weather, so I think people are really eager to get out on the lakes and just make the most of it since our summers are so short. Versus other states, you know, they're warm all year round, so they don't have that drive to get out on the lake as much. So
Well, that is true. That is true. Once the ice melts, we're out there, even if you have to wear a dry suit.
yeah.
Talk to me about the Spirit of the Lakes Festival tonight and the Lake Minnetonka Wake Surf Open. So it starts tonight. There's a lot of different events, a lot of family-friendly fun.
Yeah.
What do we start off with tonight?
So tonight there's actually wrestling going down. We actually were able to get some of the wrestlers out wake surfing a couple weeks ago. So
Wow.
they're all pretty entertaining. You guys should come tonight. 6 p.m. the wrestling starts. And then there's also live music, DJs, a lot of other stuff going down.
And the wrestling starts at 6. It's family-friendly, so the kids will love it. How were the wrestlers on the wake surfboard?
They actually didn't get out there and surf, but that's my goal. Someday I'm going to get them up on the board.
So they just wanted to come on the boat and like drink beer.
Just for a boat ride, yeah. I think some beers were drank too.
Did they get to watch you wake surf?
Yes,
I mean, did they actually get to experience Lake Minnetonka?
Yeah, they did. It was starting to rain, so we had to cut it short, but it was good.
Okay, great. And if I want to take in the wake surf competition tomorrow, where's the best place to watch?
So just come to Surfside Park. The whole beach will be packed with vendors, and the wake surfing is right out front. So unfortunately, the road is closed down, so there's a couple different spots to park, and there's shuttles going in and out. But it's better just to pull it by boat. Everyone will be tied up out there. And yeah, we'll be wake surfing all day long. Competition starts in the morning, goes all day.
And then if I want to watch by boat, what bay and is it where is it safe to park? I mean, is there going to be a clear delineation of like where you guys are going to competing, where I don't want to be?
Yeah, we'll have buoys set up, so it will be easy to see. So yeah, just right out in front of Surfside Beach. I think it's Cooks Bay, right? Yeah, Cooks Bay.
Had to check with Mom over there in the wings to make sure you got that right. You actually, not only do you compete, but you are a part of building the sport. So you created something called the Wake Surf Party. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so the Wake Surf Party, it started out as just an idea, an Instagram page, and then I started doing some tutorials on there and then started promoting my coaching. So yeah, around Lake Minnetonka, I do a bunch of wake surf coaching all around the state actually. So yeah, I use the Wake Surf Party to host events, do coaching, sell boards, you know, the whole nine, everything wake surfing.
And I know we have some video of wake surfing, so hopefully we can play a little bit of that so people can see what we're talking about. But wake surfing gets a bad rap. You know, it's very controversial on Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah.
What do you hope people understand about wake surfing?
Well, I hope people understand that it actually doesn't damage the bottom of the lake and the shoreline as much as the wind and the ice damages the shoreline and the bottom of the lake. There are some crazy drivers out there on wake boats. That's unsafe, but it's the same with all types of boats. So we just try to spread the word of keeping people safe and staying away from the shoreline, staying away from the fishermen, just keep it respectful. I don't think anyone's going to get bothered then.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't control all boaters out there. You don't just surf, you skimboard, you surf, you foil, you wakeboard.
Yeah. So this weekend I'll be competing in skim, surf, and foil. So like skim is no fins, surf style is more like an ocean surfboard with fins. And then the foil is like an airplane underwater, kind of.
Okay, kind of
Pretty
like
crazy.
like the old school air chair.
It's an air chair, but you're just standing on it technically. So.
Wow. Okay, I thought those things were outlawed in like the 90s.
Yeah, they're pretty dangerous. The foil's pretty dangerous too. Like you could cut your head off for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure your mom loves to hear this. You won your first title at 16. Is that right?
Yeah. So.
16 or 13? I have different things written down here.
16. It was semi-pro. So the first world championship I won was semi-pro. And then I actually went pro the next year and then won the pro world championship. So yeah.
So Tyler, what do you do in the winter?
In the winter, well, I went to school in Arizona. So there I was able to practice throughout the winter. And Centurion Boats is a big partner of mine. So they're able to help me out with the boat wherever I am. And so that's been really nice. But now I'm back in Minnesota. We're just snowboarding all winter.
You snowboard all winter,
Yeah.
and I saw some of that content on your YouTube channel as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
If people have never seen wake surfing or experienced wake surfing, what should they expect, or what do you want them to know?
Well, what you got to know is anyone can do it. It doesn't matter if you're older, younger, fat or skinny. Anyone can get up on a board. And you're not going as fast as wakeboarding, so it's pretty safe. So yeah, the nice thing about it is anyone can do it. You can still talk in the boat and have a good time, listen to music. It's a very fun sport. It's also easy on your body, so it's great for progression because you're never really getting hurt or taking time off the water.
Now, when you say I'm from Minnesota, I grew up in Lake Minnetonka, do most professional wake surfers know Lake Minnetonka? Or is this like popular even though I know that it's a big hub for wake surfing, is it known in the professional world?
I would say it is, yeah. After doing this event for however many years, a lot of the pros have made it out here. So yeah, Lake Minnetonka is definitely one of the more popular lakes in the U.S.
And we will see a lot of these pros this weekend.
Yep.
Who are you most excited to see? I know that you're competing against them,
Yeah.
but who are you most excited about?
Well, my friend Sam, he's the one I run the YouTube channel with, but we're going to be going head-to-head, so we got a little bit of a rivalry going on tomorrow. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the event starts tonight. I hear that we are going to play the video. Go ahead and play that, because this is a taste of what you're going to see when you get out there. Tons of boats are going to be parked out. You can see the buoys so that you guys keep it extra safe. But there's all the vendors, everybody gathering together.
There's me.
Oh, there you are. Just incredible. All these tricks and stuff. I mean, I've wake surfed before, and how do you do that?
Just a lot of time and repetition. Surprisingly, the 360 is one of the more difficult tricks to learn. It's also the first trick that everyone goes for. It can be frustrating, but after you get past the 360 and some of the basics, it starts to come a little easier and it starts getting real fun.
Can you guys put up the video again? So if I want to this, like, what's the easiest trick to start with?
Probably just a knee down. So you're just standing there, you drop your back knee down. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's a good first trick to learn.
And unlike wakeboarding, so in wakeboarding you can jump the wake and you can do flips and stuff. Wake surf. Oh, okay, that's a foil though.
Yeah.
So that you'll be competing with a foil board this weekend, so
Yeah.
you'll see some of that. But wake surfing, there's not a lot of aerial stuff, right?
Not really, no. You're kind of limited on how much height you can get, but there's a lot of technical tricks where you spin the board one way, your body goes the other way. So there's still hundreds, maybe thousands of tricks that are possible out there.
And how are you judged?
So there's judges in the boat, and typically there's 4 categories: difficulty, intensity, variety, and execution. So you just want to have a run that has a variety of tricks, so spinning in both directions, and then also you want to land your tricks clean, and you don't want to be just right above the water. You want to have some intensity and get up in the air a little bit.
So they're looking for a diversity of tricks, but they're also looking for clean riding.
Yeah. And the course is typically pretty short, just 2 runs. So you don't have much time to pack it all in. And if you fall, you lose a substantial amount of your run. So this weekend for the pros, we're actually doing a new format, and all the pros are going to be on the boat, and we're going to do 30-second rotations for about an hour. So everyone's going to have a lot more reps. So the idea is that it's a lot more entertaining to watch because the pros are actually going to have some more time to throw down their best tricks.
Yeah, and do you get any like warm-up runs?
No warm-up runs, and it's going to be choppy out there, so it's going to be hectic, but it's part
That
of the
was going to
fun.
be my next question. The conditions right now are probably not great.
Yeah, I mean, surfing on a Saturday is never the best conditions regardless, but...
Yeah, especially on Lake Minnetonka. It is busy out there. Like a Monday morning at 8 a.m. is the time to go out.
That's
truly.
the ideal time for sure.
All right, Tyler Stewart, a 4-time world champion wake surfer from right here in Victoria, Minnesota, competing this weekend at the Lake Minnetonka Wake Surf Open at the Spirit of the Lakes Festival. The Spirit of the Lakes Festival kicks off tonight. He'll be racing alongside, gosh, a lot of professionals.
Yeah, there's probably 10 pros coming in. So
10 professional wake surfers. Is there a semi-pro division too?
Yeah, we'll have all divisions. So younger kids, there's even a master's division, adaptive division as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of riders.
Amazing. That's going to be tomorrow, pretty much all day in Mound on Lake Minnetonka. Tyler Stewart, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Well, drivers in Minnesota know that there is a variety of options when it comes to license plate design, but it's actually been 10 years since we've gotten a new one. Now there's going to be a competition where Minnesotans can help design and choose the new State Parks and Trails license plate. Here to talk about it is Sarah Burhow from the DNR. Sarah, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is going to be a fun contest.
I can't wait to learn about it. Tell us all about it.
Sure. So the first State Parks and Trails license plate launched 10 years ago, and it was chosen after a design contest. And 10 years later, we're going to do a second one. So the current plate will still be available for people who want to keep it if they already have it and love it. But we're holding a design contest where all Minnesotans are eligible to submit an entry for a new license plate. And the theme is the North Shore and Lake Superior agates.
Are there any rules for those who want to submit designs?
Sure. One of the ones that's important is that we are not allowing artificial intelligence in the design process. We want this license plate to be designed by a Minnesotan, not by AI. So that is an important one for people to keep in mind. They can start putting together designs now, and we're going to accept submissions coming up from September 15th through the end of October, October 31st. So there's plenty of time for the creative people out there to get a design together and submit that by the end of October. A panel will narrow it down to some finalists, and then the public gets to decide. We'll have a public vote in December to choose the winning design.
Okay, so you have to pay if you want the park's license plate, but when you buy it, it gives you a pass into all the state parks. I mean, talk to me about what this gives you if you have one of these license plates.
Sure. So if you have a State Parks and Trails license plate, there's a $60 fee each year that you'll pay to get the license plate. And when you first get it, there's a $15 fee for the plate itself. So, and then the $60 is renewable annually. It does give you access to all 73 state parks and recreation areas in Minnesota. So it serves as your vehicle permit. And that $60 goes directly to support the maintenance and operations of the state park. So it's a great way for people who love these places to support them and support taking care of them, as well as get access to visit them all year.
Absolutely wonderful. Why did you guys decide to open this up to the public?
Sure. It was actually the Minnesota legislature that passed this in the 2026 session. They decided that we were going to do a design contest, and we think that's great. That's how we got the last license plate. This opens it up to all Minnesotans. So you may be a professional artist, but you may not be. This might be your first attempt at designing something like this, and that's okay too. All ages can participate. Kids can design something as well. So it really opens it up to all Minnesotans to have fun and participate and show their love for Parks and Trails, the North Shore, and agates.
Why is it so important to promote our parks and our trails through this program?
Sure. It's an important funding source for our parks and trails. Since that first Parks and Trails license plate launched 10 years ago, more than $16 million has come in to our division of Parks and Trails to support the work. So it's an important funding source that really keeps these places going and helps make a great experience for visitors when they come.
Wonderful. All right, so entries will be accepted from September 15th to October 31st. Do I have that right?
You do.
Okay, great. And do we have the website that we can put up on the screen for where to submit? Public voting will take place after that. Anything else you want people to know about this process?
I think that's a good foundation there. We hope to have some great designs. So really, again, encourage everyone to participate and submit a design. We'll have an online entry form available September 15th. And start using your creative mind now and come up with some great ideas.
Wonderful. Sarah Burhow with the DNR, I appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, you can submit those from September 15th until October 31st for your chance for your art to be featured on a license plate. We are going to take a quick break here, but we'll be back after this. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 9 all day. Well, we are all getting excited for the FIFA World Cup Championship match. But who needs soccer experts to predict and opine over who's going to win when Minnesota has sea creatures? Sea Life at Mall of America let its animals predict the winner of Sunday's FIFA World Cup final. And here you go. Here were the results. Oh, that lizard. What is that? Kara, is that a lizard? I don't know. He chose Spain.
I think it's a bearded dragon.
Let's see who the turtle goes for. He's not moving very fast, Kara.
Oh, but he's picking Spain. Look at that.
But the turtle is slow. He's going to go for whoever was closest, so that doesn't count.
Hey.
He picked Spain. Did they put treats on the end of that? It looks like they did. Up, and the little sharks?
Epaulet shark.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
That is a shark, and it appears that they're picking Argentina.
I don't even see Spain's flag.
Yeah, where is Spain?
Where's Spain?
Spain wasn't in the mix. And the moray eel, I think that's a Spain pick there.
I would go Spain.
Yeah. This is a very Spain-heavy group at the Sea Life Aquarium. Oh, the shark goes for Spain.
Indigo Spain.
Again, the hammerhead shark. Listen, the sea animals are loving Spain. Argentina is loving Spain. Argentina only got one vote, I think. Well, that was fun, but here to get serious and talk about it on a professional level.
To be serious?
We don't have to be, Dawn. Dawn Mitchell joins us now. Argentina versus Spain. The animals liked Spain. Do you think they're on to something?
Well, first of all, Spain has only given up one goal the entire tournament.
Okay.
To Belgium. So there's that. But when you come to Argentina, they have Messi. And so when you have Leo Messi on your team and they have come from behind and have stunned teams as they come along, and also they're the defending champs, you can't roll them out either. So don't make me pick, but I already know you can't go against Messi.
Okay. So you're being professional. You don't want to say, but I feel like you're leaning Argentina.
Oh, I'm going to say Argentina only because
of Messi.
Of Messi, the Messi effect. That's the only reason why. But Spain has been lights out. I mean, Spain had a 0-0 draw to Cape Verde to open things up, and people were like, what is going on? But then they kept going and going and going, and, they gave up the goal to Belgium, and that's it. It's just interesting. They also shut out France in the semis. So when you keep Mbappe and company off the charts, that's impressive. So I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout or anything like that, but you can never rule out Argentina. They're like that trick candle.
It should be a good game.
That keeps coming back. And then when Messi can do a cross like that with his right foot, which is his weak foot, I mean, he can just bite you. So
I don't think Messi really has a weak foot. I know that technically he does, but come on.
Right.
Come on.
There's not a weakness in this game.
Other things to talk about back here locally, the Vixens. There's some big news with them.
Yeah, Minnesota Vixen. I don't know if you haven't heard of them. So they are the women's professional tackle football team in town.
Cool.
So they're going to the national championships for the third time ever. First time in a little bit. So they're going to play the Passion, and it's out at Canton, Ohio. And it's the 25th. So it's going to be a huge game. I went to their practice yesterday. They moved it indoor because the air quality was so bad. And we're in Vadnais Heights, and they're looking good. So I'm really excited to see if they can pull out a championship and win the big one this time.
So I'm ashamed to say that when they told me that you wanted to talk about the Vixens, I said the who? Not as well of a known league. Women's tackle football.
Yeah.
How long has this been around?
Well, I've been here since 2004, and I think my first story with them was 2005.
Okay.
But they, little by little, they've been really getting people on, and there's been a changing of the guard. Probably a couple of years back. Some of them retired. I mean, there used to be a player that was a grandma on there, but she would still be like a defensive person that would flatten you. But now, with the onset of flag football, believe it or not, some of these high schools and colleges are implementing flag football. There's been this kind of groundswell of talent that they can pull from as well. And so, they had to get over the hump of the conference championship, which they did this year, and so it's going to be good. It's going to be big. And
Where do they
fingers
play?
crossed. So I know that they used to play in Edina. I'm trying to figure out where. I'm trying to remember exactly off the top of my head where they played this past year, because they changed the field. But they said that they're averaging. This doesn't sound like a lot, but they said they used to average like maybe 500 or 600 per game, and now it's over 1,000.
Oh.
So I think it's just like when we talked about the WNBA. You have to tell people, you have to show people, give them a product, and they'll show up. Cheryl Reeve actually wore their T-shirt under her blazer. You know how she likes to do that for their last game. And so that really meant a lot. So I talked to some of the women. They're saying, that was just great. They had a fangirl moment because Cheryl Reeve was like, no. And her jersey was the shirt she had was from 2019. So she's been supporting them all the way since then. But knowing that they're going to the national championship game, she brought it out, and it's big. So,
wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I know that, like you mentioned, flag football in high school has really gotten a huge boost,
and
especially
some colleges now too.
Well, the Vikings are backing the high school girls flag football league. They're trying to make it a high school sport.
But it keeps getting shut
yes,
down.
unsuccessfully so far. But I was surprised to see how many high schools in the metro have girls flag football.
Well, even last night, so they had to move their practice indoors. So it was in Vadnais Heights. So it was the TCO, not a stadium, but TCO sponsored sports complex. And when we're walking down, there's all these different fields. There was some people playing soccer. 3 of the fields were women playing flag football. It was amazing. Just before, and then we had to wait for some lacrosse people to get off before the Vixen could actually take over the fields and start practicing. But I was impressed. And those women that were playing last night at Vadnais Heights, I mean, shout out to them. They were in it, and they were playing great. So I just love seeing that. Even if, whether it's organized, whether it's, recreational, it doesn't matter. I think it's really good.
I don't mean to spend a ton of time on this, but I'm fascinated. I think it's great.
I think you're going to start doing it.
I think I'm going to get involved. I need a new workout routine since leaving the U.S. snowboard circuit. So, do they? I forget where I was going with that, Dawn. But
the flag football.
There was something in there. There was something in there. I don't know. I just
ripped
love
your
it.
flag off.
Yes, so I was just so excited about this. I was, yeah. Anyway, I was curious if they wear like the full garb and then where their games are streaming. Like, do they have anywhere where you can watch the games?
Vixen?
Yeah.
This game will be on ESPN2.
It will
It's
be.
a 1:00 game, Saturday, the 25th. I'm getting my dates right. I know it's Saturday, so it's 1 p.m. ESPN2. You'll be.
Cool.
You can watch the national game on television. So.
Cool.
And they record all. What I really like is that they've really stepped it up. They record all their games, so they're watching films on each other. So this just isn't like we're just going to show up and play. They watch film. They've got game plans. It's really pretty special to watch.
Cool.
So.
Minnesota Vixens.
Yeah.
And in other women's sports news, the Lynx, Olivia Miles hurt her ankle in the fourth quarter of the game the other night.
Yeah.
Or the other day, I should say. It was a noon game. And Cheryl Reeves didn't really want to say anything after the game in the post-game press conference.
Yeah, and I don't blame her. So here's the tricky thing with it. So she had an injury prior to this, and it was her right calf. She had a right calf strain. It's her right ankle. So I'm not, a doctor or anything, but your ankle and your calf, they're not far apart, So when you deal with one injury, you have to be careful of another. So, but Olivia did say that she feels great and that the ankle is doing good. That's her word for it. And then Cheryl Reeve, when asked, is she going to play? She's like, oh, so you asked her, she wouldn't tell you, so you're going to ask me? No comment. So, but she said, but what I will tell you, she was a full participant in practice.
Okay.
So it doesn't seem like they're really concerned about it. But for me, just covering sports for a long, long time, when you have someone who has a calf injury that she was out for a little bit more than now, she kind of rolled that ankle.
Yeah, it looked like she stepped on another
just
player's
kind of
foot.
awkward.
Yeah.
You just have to watch it. You just have to watch it, especially where she's so young. She's such a talent, but that's going to happen in sports. But when it's the same right foot in between the calf and the ankle, you just have to watch it.
There was a lot of talk about it and a lot of spotlight on it just because she is now this 2 months in a row.
She's incredible.
Rookie of
Yeah.
the month.
Yeah.
She's Many people are saying she's going to be Rookie of the Year.
She's the show.
Yeah.
She's fun to watch. She's confident. She's got the personality. She backs it up, but she's also humble. In a really odd way, people are like, how can she be confident and humble? She really is. You know, on the court, she'll trash talk and she gets into it because that's the game. And then afterwards, you know, I think you and I have spoken about this before. She'll be very complimentary, like Courtney was one of the best opponents I faced. You know, like she gives her fellow players their due, and she's just a rookie. So
yeah,
it's really fun to watch.
She's a star though, so whenever you see one of those stars get hurt, it's like, oh no, we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
The Saints tonight are 10,
so fun.
10 millionth fan, is that right?
Yeah, so they're waiting for the 10 millionth fan to come through the doors. And I had to write it down because the person who comes through, because they don't know who it is yet, obviously, will get over $7,500 in prizes and souvenirs. And it starts first with season tickets for life. They're calling it the Gold Card. Also, a commemorative jersey. They're going to have an on-field appearance and on the TV broadcast, and then multi-gift cards and merch.
Somebody's going to walk in tonight unaware.
Like, they're going to throw the boa, the crown. Like, I don't know how they're going to celebrate.
Yeah, they get crazy over there.
But that's such a huge accomplishment for the franchise as well. 10 million fans.
Well, it's a great way to see the Twins up-and-comers. I mean, you think about somebody like Walker Jenkins, who we've had on the show, such a gentleman, such an incredible baseball player, seen as the future of the Twins. You can go see him play.
Yeah.
You know, for $20.
And you know that one of the things that people probably don't really think about, the guys on the Saints, especially now they're affiliated and can be called up to go to the Twins, love the fact that they're in the same town. If you think about when guys are called up, they have to get on a flight, they got to move their stuff, they got to change apartments. Everyone's so happy to be. If they're with the Saints, they're like, well, I can keep my same apartment if I get called up for the Twins.
Yeah, a lot of teams are like, they're in Arizona, they're in Florida, they got to fly all the way across the country.
Minor league is a tough life for baseball. So, you know, the Saints already have that feel-good kind of how they handle the franchise anyway. The fans love it, and then the players love being there. So, and you know, to have your dream of being called up. So,
you can get a haircut in the stands.
You can?
Yes, they do haircuts.
That I did not know.
That's something I do know about the Saints. Yeah. No, they have so much fun.
I dare you.
I don't know if it's for me. I think it's more for like buzz cuts, Dawn. Like I would let my 6-year-old do it.
I dare you.
I think I'm going to pass on that one. Even though it's Friday and we're getting a little crazy around here, I'm not going to do it. But I do think that somebody's going to walk in tonight and it's going to be, they're going to have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea that they're doing this, and all of a sudden they're going to be in, in the middle of the field, being honored on the big screen. And
yeah. So if you don't have tickets yet, they're playing the Louisville Bats. Go get your ticket. Go to St. Paul. See if you can become that person, and especially if you're a huge baseball fan, to get that Gold Card, to have free tickets for life. That's awesome.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah. Do you get to go? Is that part of your job tonight?
I'm anchoring tonight, so
no fun for you.
Nope.
No fun for you.
Well, I mean, it's always fun. I could be digging ditches.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
I mean, it's easy.
All right. Dawn Mitchell, you can catch her tonight on the evening news on Fox 9. So we appreciate you making the time to come in here and chat with us.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. This is the part of the show where we like to take a look at what is trending on social media in a segment we like to call, Wait, What's Happening? A family vacationing in Oceanside, California was flabbergasted when they checked into their Airbnb only to find what they claim was a large picture of themselves hung on the wall. Take a look.
Okay, guys, the weirdest thing happened. We get to our Airbnb in San Diego.
It's unsettling.
Unsettling. And we're like
random Airbnb,
looking through it, no connections to it.
Literally just
we're looking at this picture, and my dad is like, "This looks like me," and I'm like, "Oh, Dad, what? No, this is my dad. That's my sister, Libby, when she was 10 years ago, and that's Brady, my brother, 10 years ago." He is they're literally in the Airbnb picture.
We have those swimsuits. We are literally in this picture.
It's the craziest thing.
We are on our Airbnb wall. It's crazy. This can't be real.
No, guys, we think this is crazy.
We are
so let
actually
us know.
spiraling.
The video was captured by Aubrey Burrell, shows her and her sister in shock as they point out their family members in the picture. I'd say, yeah, girls, that is pretty crazy. What are the odds?
Yeah, this video came up on my social media the other day, and at first I thought it was going to be like, they turned the camera, I thought it was going to be like the Airbnb host framed a picture of their family for them, and I was like, that's weird.
I also, when you told me about this, I was like, well, this sounds creepy.
Yeah,
Send it over.
I thought it was like a weird, creepy thing, but it's a weird, creepy coincidence.
Yes.
Yeah, I was shocked. When I saw this, I was like, we have to talk about this.
So I don't know the background here. Clearly what I'm thinking is the person who owns the Airbnb is an amateur photographer, likes to take pictures of the beach there. I'm thinking this family probably likes to vacation there, or at least has vacation there a couple times. And this person, amateur photographer, took a photo of the beach and got it blown up. That's what I'm guessing.
I mean, it could also just be a photographer took this photo. It's kind of a stock image that, like, you can... This looks like a piece of art you could buy at Home Goods, you know? Like, it looks like a generic photo.
Yeah.
Like, it could be just like a generic photo kind of situation, or the Airbnb host is a photographer. I don't know.
What are the odds, though?
That's insane.
What are the odds? And also the fact that they recognize themselves.
I know.
Like,
I would just walk right past that picture.
I don't know if I'd be looking so closely at artwork in my Airbnb to know. And then what this makes me think about, Kara, is like, how many times have we been in the background of a photograph and we don't even know it?
Yeah.
Like, maybe a photo of me is hanging in the Louvre and I don't even know it.
Exactly, Courtney.
Could be.
I don't know. Yeah.
Probably a painting.
Yeah, just a painting, a headshot of you in the Louvre. You don't know about it.
Is it giving Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the deal. Show the video again.
All right.
What I also love, Kara, is you can just start it from where it was. What I love is the way that these girls talk. It actually kind of reminds me of the newsroom, surrounded by a bunch of Gen Z 20-something-year-old girls. They are using terminology that most people on our broadcast probably don't understand.
Right. Yes.
Can you?
What?
Well, what did she say? She said that. Well, play the audio again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It has to go from the beginning. I dipped the audio out at the end, but you got to play it from the beginning.
The weirdest thing happened. We get to our Airbnb in San Diego.
It's unsettling.
Unsettling. And we're like
random Airbnb,
looking through it, no connections to it.
Literally just
we're looking at this picture, and my dad is like, "This looks like me," and I'm like, "Oh, Dad, what? No, this is my dad. That's my sister, Libby, when she was 10 years ago, and that's Brady, my brother, 10 years ago." He is they're literally in the Airbnb picture.
We have those swimsuits. We are literally in this picture.
It's the craziest thing.
We are on our Airbnb wall. It's crazy. This can't be real.
No, guys, we think this is crazy.
We are
so let
actually
us know.
spiraling.
They're spiraling. They're spiraling.
That's what it was spiraling.
They're literally They're literally. I think they said literally 10 times.
I think they said literally 10 times,
It
but
is
I
so
also do that.
unsettling.
It's really bad.
Unsettling. This is so
I don't say
unsettling.
unsettling. Do I say that?
I don't know. It wasn't as bad as
wasn't
I thought it was when I watched it the first time.
But it was very Gen Z.
Yes, it had Gen Z written all over it. So who knows how many
spends
walls?
too much time with us.
I do. Who knows how many walls you're hanging on right now, Kara?
I know, that's really creepy. I don't like that.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a segment we like to call, Wait, What's Happening? Glad you enjoyed it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Well, we are still in that extreme heat warning. That warning finally expires tonight. We've been in it all week, a very long stretch of heat. Here to talk all about it is Erica Mrazek. Erica, it's not unusual per se to have a long stretch of heat like this, but it doesn't happen often.
It doesn't, and today is day 7 that the high temperature of the metro is reaching the 90s. So long duration heat wave, which is why there are still some heat alerts out across the area. So for the metro, extreme heat warning through today. Other areas, that's heat advisory. You also see some more alerts on here and a cold front. So fronts going from northwest to southeast, and that's going to bring a little bit of some smoke behind it. It's not going to be as bad as it was on Wednesday, Thursday. But overall, expect the possibility of some hazy skies to re-enter, especially in northwest Minnesota. Now, turning all those off, taking a look at the precipitation, it's mostly dry across the state like it has been the past week pretty much. But up towards the north and the east, there are some thunder showers. One that's a bit stronger than the rest, that's a severe thunderstorm warning, and southeast St. Louis County and southwestern Lake County headed southeast. And with this, you could find some quarter-sized hail between about that and perhaps to the size of a ping pong ball. So that's 1 inch and a quarter. And then also some gusty wind. So stay skyware for northeast Minnesota, but everyone else is rain-free right now. Just very hot and still a little bit hazy. So metro extreme heat warning, the tan area surrounding the metro. So that goes to southwest Minnesota over up towards almost International Falls, but just getting short by about 1 county up there. for feels like temperatures that are going to be in the 90s again. And then also air quality alert out for the northern half of the state. So that's anywhere from Brainerd northward until Monday for now. Currently, the metro not in any air quality alert, but still expect a little bit of hazy skies and not perfect air quality, but improved air quality from what we had yesterday. So for right now, moderate air quality for the metro, a lot of the central part of Minnesota, even up towards the north central part of the state. But then there's still unhealthy air towards the west where the cold front's bringing in a little bit of haze, as well as still unhealthy and very unhealthy air up north and east in the Arrowhead where they're getting the biggest impacts. So I expect the Arrowhead region to continue to see the worst of the air quality throughout the weekend, but everyone else is looking better than how it was for your Thursday and for your Wednesday night. So here's a look at the timing of how the haze is going to move around next about 36 hours. I expect it to drift from the northwest southeast with that front throughout the rest of your Friday evening into perhaps Saturday night and through the day Saturday. But you'll notice it's more of a light haze rather than a wall of smoke or that really, really thick air that you had from yesterday. So just some hazy conditions. It's not perfect, but still looking at that smoke being in some spots, especially for Wisconsin. That's where there'll be the most smoke over the next 36 hours. And then currently it's still warm, 94 here in the metro. Even though the smoke's kind of gone, the heat is sticking around for your Friday. Feels a touch warmer than that because the dew points are upper 60s here in the Twin Cities. So it feels like a 98 currently for the metro. Even warmer west, 107 for the feels like temperature in Wilmer, 102 in Morris, Marshall, 105 for New Ulm, 100 Mankato. So it is really hot with that southwest wind, which helped to take the smoke out late yesterday, but it's bringing in the heat for your day today. So here's a look at outside, a little bit of haze in there. Air quality alert still out for the northern half of the state for the next couple of days. And then the heat alerts are going to fade away. So expect those to continue for today. Then by the weekend, it starts to get a degree or two not as hot. So highs will be in the low 90s. And then, Courtney, after that comes some more mild air with highs that'll be in the mid to low 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday.
That sounds lovely after the week that we've had.
It'll be quite literally a breath of fresh air.
Literally. Literally.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Erica.
Thanks.
All right, and of course she was talking about the air quality. All of that is coming from those wildfires that are burning up in northern Minnesota and along the Canadian border as firefighters continue to battle more than a dozen fires burning up there. And there was a bit of welcome news yesterday as parts of Ely picked up half-inch to an inch of rain overnight. That temporarily slowed wildfire activity, but fire officials warn that it's only a short-term break with more firefighters arriving yesterday. Crews continued to battle the blazes. The St. Louis County Sheriff says there is renewed optimism in Ely, though, with that rain as the smoke has cleared a bit. Blue skies even were popping out today in Ely. So they are telling tourists that they are open for business, just not in the boundary waters. In other news here in Minnesota, one of the top suspects in the massive Feeding Our Future scheme was expected to make his first court appearance this afternoon. 42-year-old Abdikerm Edley arrived back in Minnesota yesterday after fleeing to Somalia. Officials say he was second in command to Amy Bach, accused of stealing $250 million from a federal child nutrition program. He faces more than 30 charges and is being held at the Sherburne County Jail. FBI Director Kash Patel called his arrest a historic moment in the FBI's war on fraud. And drivers, listen up, because 494 in the West Metro is going to be closed in both directions starting tonight at 10 p.m. So between Highway 100 and Highway 77, that's in the Edina-Richfield area, 494 will be closed. So basically, if you're going to the airport, say, from the western burbs, you're going to want to find another route. And MnDOT has suggested alternative routes on their website. You can check it out there. But this is all part of a major project that's going to be happening through 2030 that is looking to put in easy pass lanes and also improve safety and reduce congestion. Those closures will go until Monday at 5 a.m. In international news, the conflict between the U.S. and Iran is escalating. Overnight, U.S. forces struck bridges and transportation infrastructure near the strategic Strait of Hormuz, while Iran retaliated by targeting infrastructure in neighboring Kuwait. The latest exchange marks a significant expansion of the fighting, raising fresh concerns about global oil supplies and the risk of wider regional conflict. And an update for you here on the cyclospora outbreak. So federal health officials say they have identified a likely source in the nationwide cyclosporasis outbreak. Investigators are tracing the parasite back to lettuce sold at some Taco Bell stores in the Midwest. Just a short while ago, the manufacturer, Taylor Farms, or the supplier, I should say, Taylor Farms, said in a statement that it is voluntarily removing all iceberg lettuce sourced from central Mexico after being notified by the FDA about the agency's traceback investigation. So Taylor Farms removing all iceberg lettuce sourced from this specific farm in central Mexico, where they believe this outbreak originated. They do say that no bagged lettuce contains this iceberg, so they're claiming that the lettuce they sell in Target and Walmart stores is not impacted, but they are pulling all their iceberg lettuce otherwise. That's going to do it for us for headlines right now. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Stay right there. Welcome back. Wildfires in northern Minnesota have now burned over 60,000 acres. There's more than a dozen burning right now, and thousands have been evacuated. They did get a little bit of respite overnight. They got half an inch to an inch of rain, which was welcome news. St. Louis County Sheriff Gordon Ramsey joined Simone Woolridge just a few hours ago. Take a listen to that conversation. If we have it. We might have it. We do have it. It's coming for you.
Well, wildfires are still burning in northern Minnesota, which has led to air quality issues across most of our state. But while the air is clearing up around the metro, those fires are still burning. Northern St. Louis County dealing with several fires. So joining us now is Sheriff Gordon Ramsey. Sheriff, thank you so much for joining us. I know you just hopped out of the room. We were just taking that press conference also from the U.S. Forest Service in Ely. I know you were there. We got a lot of information, a lot of updates just a few moments ago. And I've been following some of your updates on social media. You guys got some rain. Has that helped at all?
Yeah, I think it's a temporary reprieve, but the part to consider is that we've got more dry weather coming, and the Weather Service has put us on warning for potential red flag warnings Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with winds blowing south, which causes some concern. Everybody has to remember these are still forest areas that are burning. They're not burning in populated areas. Now they are moving south and getting a little closer, but I hear a lot of people that are worried about, well, should I cancel my vacation? This is a small area, and people need to keep in mind that it is wilderness that's burning. It is not a lot of, or really any populated areas.
And another update I saw of yours was about power being restored. What happened there? So the power went out, and then we're now okay?
Yeah, we had, as part of those storms today, there was some lightning, and that impacted a power line that was quickly repaired. But everybody's a little on edge up here. So, we're trying to keep people informed and keep them up to date on what's happening.
Yeah, tell us about that and just the process in getting the word out. As we mentioned, these fires in some of these remote areas. How has it been just trying to let people know what's going on and for them to receive these alerts, because they're very important alerts?
Right. One of the things, the smoke yesterday, while it was difficult for a lot of people to handle, I think it woke some people up that these are some serious conditions, and while it is wilderness fires, the potential for it to come south is there, and that people need to pay attention. We have we have a tremendous mapping system in these areas that are very rural. A lot of the cabins you can only access by water, so we have a pretty comprehensive mapping system where if the evacuation zone does continue to go south, where we will notify people, track it, and ensure that people are notified one way or another, even if it's in person.
What has this all hands on deck situation look like? Because for those viewers who weren't joining us, when the press conference happened, I heard, resources being pulled from, Mississippi and Mexico, and how unprecedented this is to see in the state of Minnesota. What has those resources look like on the ground?
Yeah, because it is over a wide swath of wilderness area, you don't really see it. But there's over 500 firefighters that are here that are working diligently to get lines around these fires and get them controlled, at least those that are at the south end of the boundary waters. It's been tough to get some updates on how far the fires have moved because planes haven't been able to fly. So we're having to do more work on foot because, again, you can't drive to the edge of these fires because they're so far into the wilderness. So that has been a little more challenging, trying to get up-to-date information on how the fires have changed given the weather conditions.
And I heard snowfall was mentioned. You still have to get through this big stretch of summertime. Is that what you're expecting too? Is, the all clear once we get some snowfall?
I think in the remote areas, yes. Obviously, near your population centers, that's going to be dealt with readily. But this does extend up into Canada, into areas that are so far remote, it's very difficult to get to. So yeah, those will be left to burn.
Okay. Anything? I know we have a couple more minutes, but I know we're running out of time. You mentioned, you still want people to come up and visit. There are businesses that are there, places that are open. Tell us about that, because you mentioned remote areas, but also there's just to sort of give us a sense of what things look like, because for the people who haven't been up there, just a better visual of what to expect if we do come and visit.
Sure. Well, let's just take St. Louis County. St. Louis County is enormous in size. We have more lakes than many states. A lot of resorts, a lot of tourism-related business that, are going to be hurting if people decide not to come up here, even though they might not be fully, they're not impacted at all by these fires. So I think people need to keep that in mind. Continue with your plans if you're coming up here, and just stay alert and pay attention to where the evacuation zones are. And it's a pretty small area given the overall size of northern Minnesota and all the lakes we have up here.
And this might just seem like a simple question, Sheriff, but how have people been feeling? I know you mentioned, some people sort of on edge when you talked about power outages, but for the most part, how have people been?
Yeah, well, people are very supportive of public safety. I think what people want to know is they want communication. They want to know where the fires are at and when they have to worry. And as public safety professionals, we want to lead with a steady hand, keep people informed as best we can, but not cause any panic, and make sure that we're getting the information to those that are impacted by this in a timely manner so that everybody can stay safe.
Yeah, ultimately the most important thing. Sheriff Gordon Ramsay, we appreciate your time. Thanks for, I know you were in the room when that press conference was happening, so for you to jump out and hop on and speak with us and give us any updates, we really appreciate your time and just your effort too.
Yeah, thanks for covering this. Appreciate it.
Of course, thank you. Stay safe.
All right, you were just hearing from St. Louis County Sheriff Gordon Ramsay. As you heard him say, they did get a little bit of a break thanks to the rain, but they do expect those dry, hot conditions to continue, and the firefighting efforts are still going to be tough. You hear him there encourage people to continue visiting the Northland, as this has been very hard on their tourism business, as this is usually their peak season, and a lot of people are canceling trips. So he just reminded everyone that not everywhere in the Northland is smoky and low air quality, and they still want you to come. So just make sure you check with your resort, check their quality map before you leave. If you are going to the Boundary Waters, that is closed. Your permits have been pulled, but everywhere else is still open. We also today heard from the U.S. Forest Service as Jason Loomis updated the public on where the firefighting efforts stand. Take a listen.
We are responsible for command of 5 fires on the Superior National Forest, as well as Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. I'll start with the Thumb Fire. The Thumb Fire is a fire that is burning up on the Boundary Waters canoe area. It is on the border with Canada. That fire has spotted up into Canada and has progressed pretty significantly, undetermined how far and with what intensity. I think the take-home message there is we're really trying to coordinate with our Canadian partners to the north, as well as the First Nation tribes up there, understand that they've been evacuated, so some serious implications associated with that. So that close coordination has been our priority one for the Thumb Fire. I will also say that fire remains largely unstopped. It's just not safe to get folks in there. We don't have the contingent of resources to safely or efficiently get in there and to take any action. So right now, our priority and our management action is to monitor by air to help us gain that situational assessment as well as intelligence, and not only for us, but provide that same level of intelligence to our partners to the north there. Coming down a little bit further to the south is the Sioux Fire. We are managing the Sioux Fire with a contingent of about 150 personnel. Those numbers fluctuate a little bit because they bounce between fire to fire, trying to address some of the most critical needs and protect those values of concern that have been addressed. The Sioux Fire has burned pretty actively up until today. Things have moderated a little bit with the weather conditions that we've observed the last 6 or 8 hours, but we continue to have progression to the south. I will say that progression is relatively moderated, again, because of that weather, but also because we have committed a pretty substantial contingent of resources to go in there, evaluate some of those critical values of concern, and take some of those concerns out of play. Moving over to the Bear Trap Fire. The Bear Trap has actually become one of our priorities over the course of the last 24 hours, largely owing to the fact that we've had pretty good growth to the south. Don't know exactly the distance of how far it's progressed to the south, but there is significant infrastructure along the Echo Trail as well as Big Lake. Resorts, cabins, homes, all kinds of infrastructure that we are prioritizing our resources to get them out there and protect those values. Last report was the fire was about a mile from that infrastructure. But again, we're moving resources over there as efficiently and safely as we can do so. Moving over to the Camp Fire. The Camp Fire has taken quite a bit of our attention the last 3 or 4 days, owing to the fact that we had to evacuate about 300 structures 3 days ago along the Fernburg corridor. Certainly a concern, but a lot of coordination has been going on with our sheriff departments from Lake County as well as St. Louis County. Tremendous coordination and collaboration there, and all the operations has been going exceptionally well. So appreciate the support and work there. And then lastly, you know, again, I can't overemphasize, you heard it from previous presenters, that the conditions are just so extreme. Even with that rainfall that we observed this morning, we're already back into warm conditions. It's getting breezy. It's not going to take long before those fuels are very receptive and available to burn. So we are preparing. We're trying to stay ahead by being proactive with not only our communication strategies, not only our operation strategies, but our ability to really stay ahead of the fire, be very proactive rather than reactive. I just caution you all and just want to remind the public that we are still very extreme here. Our fuels conditions are extremely dry, and it's going to take some significant moisture over a period of time for that to get a little bit of reprieve. So I'll leave you with this. It takes all of us. We're all here to serve you all as public servants. We're all here to work for you as your public servants, but we need you to help us, help you be safe and be successful. So please refer to your county emergency, refer to Facebook, refer to any media outlet for any updates. And we'll do our best to be expedient and timely with those updates.
All right. You were just listening to Jason Loomis at that U.S. Forest Service press conference. Obviously, he was saying that the rain overnight helped, but that fuel conditions remain very dry, and it's going to take a lot more precipitation to help in this firefight as they continue to battle those more than dozen fires that are burning in northern Minnesota. We're going to take a quick break here, but we'll be back. Stay with us. Well, nothing's changed. It's still hot outside. We're still talking about the heat. All week, we've been talking about the heat. Meteorologist Erica Mrazek joins us now. Erica, we are going to get a reprieve pretty soon here.
We will, just a couple days out. For now, still really warm as well as for the weekend, and a little bit hazy as well for some spots. This is the overall setup. Area of low pressure now towards the north. There's a cold front stemming from that south and west, kind of cutting the state almost in half. Now, behind the cold front, the winds from the north and the west. So basically, the smoke that was here yesterday, retreated northeast, is wrapping around the area of low pressure and coming back around behind the cold front. So there is a bit more haze on its way, especially in northwest Minnesota. Overall, it will not be as bad as it was when it moved in on Wednesday, and not as smoky as it was on Thursday, but there still is that smoke to the air, especially for places towards the north. Also, a lot of alerts out for heat and air quality, and also there are some storms happening right now, so there's a lot. Right now, it's mostly dry across a lot of Minnesota, except towards the northeastern part of the state around the Arrowhead. There was a severe warned storm, but that storm no longer warned as it's further towards the south and east, lost a little bit of strength. But there's a line of broken thunderstorms from about Grand Marais over towards the western southern part of St. Louis County. That's south of Hibbing. But everywhere else, it's dry, but it is very hot. High temperatures in the 90s, feeling like the triple digits. So that led to heat advisories getting put out again for places in the central and southern part of the state. And then an extreme heat warning in the metro region where you have that heat island keeping things warmer here with some more concrete. So temperatures feeling quite warm in the cities. And then for your air quality alerts, a lot of the southern part of the state is out of that for now. But towards the north, they still have air quality alerts for some into the rest of this evening. And then for others, even into right for now, Monday morning. So the air quality is still not the best, but it has improved over the past 24 hours. In the metro region and areas south, also north central Minnesota, that's moderate, but there are still unhealthy areas out kind of behind that cold front that I was showing earlier. And then it is still unhealthy to very unhealthy for places around Ely, Grand Marais, and other parts of the North Shore. So where you have those fires, closest region towards the fires, that is still where you have some quite poor air quality, but other places are looking at improvement. So here's a map of how the smoke's going to kind of circle around the next couple of hours. So it will wrap around that system, that low pressure, and sink south and east. And you'll notice it's a lighter yellow, meaning that it's not going to be as thick as it was. Visibility is not going to be as low as it was yesterday. But over towards Wisconsin, I'll step out of the way so you could see it. There is still going to be some pretty thick smoke there in two parts of the weekend. But here for our state, looking a lot better, especially for places towards the west and the southwest. So that's overall the pattern for that. It's still going to be hot for today and the weekend. Currently, it's 94 right now in the metro. Temperatures up north in the 70s with that filter from the sunshine with smoke. And then it feels warmer, so it even feels like 107 in Wilmer with your dew points that are in the 70s, upper 60s. Feeling like 100 in Morris, 102 in Marshall, 103 in New Ulm with that southwest wind. And here in the metro, it feels like 98, even places north of the metro, feeling like the triple digits. So it is another hot day all around with a little bit of a haze to the sky. So next few days in northern Minnesota, air quality alert still out, and then the heat is slowly but should soon get better. For the weekend, the highs are still going to be in the 90s, but then after that, highs are likely to drop down to the mid to low 80s by about Tuesday, Wednesday, Courtney. So some more refreshing airs on the way in a couple of days. Courtney.
It's crazy, Erica, to see like 90s still up north. You saw Duluth, Hibbing, Hinckley, Ely was in the 80s. I mean, that is still extremely hot for that region. And when we think about firefighting efforts, yes, it's a cool down, but that is still above average for them.
Still well above average. And here in the metro, the last time that there was this long of a stretch of hot temperatures in the 90s was in June of 2021. So that was about 5 years ago. So it happens, but it's not common.
Yeah. Don't hate it, but don't love it. That's my take.
Yeah, same.
Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.
On this same weather beat, you got to check this out because a Florida woman had a chance call with a lightning strike as it hit near her neighbor's house a couple Saturdays ago. Check out this footage captured by Jessica Gonzalez out of Florida. Do we have? Oh, there we go. Wow, you could certainly hear it there. That footage captured by Gonzalez's Ring camera shows the moment the bolt struck a front yard across the street. She was unpacking her car, getting her kids out of the car, getting stuff out of the car when the lightning hit. She said that the kids were in the garage, shocked and screaming. Yeah, no
Did the
surprise.
house behind it like get set on fire?
I mean, I can't imagine how not, but yeah, she said it felt like a firecracker was lit next to me and the sparks were hitting me.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I feel like your heart would just drop to the floor. And
what are the odds, too?
I don't know. I can't imagine.
I gotta look that up. What are the odds of getting struck by lightning? It's not
I feel like there
common.
was something weird about, like, either you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning twice than something. I don't know.
Yeah, that came uncomfortably close. Uncomfortably close for me, and especially makes me nervous because she had her kids with her, you know, and we've all been there. It's raining, there's thunderstorms, but you still got to live your life. You still got to get the grocery shopping done. So the chance of being struck by lightning in a given year, 1 in 1.2 million. Yeah, that's very low.
If you've been struck by lightning once, you are more likely to be struck by lightning a second time.
Well, that's odd. That's odd. Yeah, that sounds like are they tree trimmers or
I don't know
storm
who's saying
chasers?
that. Who is saying that?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's the kind of person that gets hit by lightning is more likely to get hit twice. Do you know 90% of people struck by lightning actually survive? So, you know, you can have long-term effects, but it's not RIP if you get struck by lightning.
I think I would just rather not.
But your risk is higher if you work outdoors or if you spend a lot of time hiking, golfing, fishing.
That makes sense.
It does seem, she said it sounded like, it felt like a firecracker went off next to her. I think that's exactly what I would equate it to. That'll do it for us today. We hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.